Testing, 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 testing.
Not directly contributing to the science for the 90, but it will be helpful eventually.
Great. We just turn on our microphones there, folks.
Okay, I've sent this to you all, but the river cleanup is the last Saturday in June. I'd love for the WSC and the team members of WSC to, if you can, to show up and help. I think it's definitely related to protecting the watershed, so I'd really love that. Christos.
Yes.
Tell us about, I'm not getting the hydroseeding thing. You have equipment that the municipalities can use? Yes?
Yes. So, long story short, due to programs and incentives that existed long before I came, the district in itself procured hydroseeding material to implement to the county of Otsego. And basically what hydroseeding is a quick and efficient way to basically seed or cover exposed soil for various works that are performed. And in this case, what we care about is works that can inevitably lead to erosion within the streams of Otsego County, New York.
Okay.
Now, some districts have the ability to do it by themselves, so they go, they get the equipment, they have the equipment, they procure the materials, and off they go to hydroseed areas that they believe are exposed. We do not have that ability, but what we do have is that we have the hydroseeder, we procure the material, and basically what we do is that we source that out to the various county, well, there's only one county here. And town / village / city highway departments. So when they do work like ditching or road repavements, or I don't know, pipe works or refurbishments or whatever they need to do, where they have a lot of exposed soil, that it can leave the area exposed to erosion, that can also leave the area exposed to SWIP regulations. Then what they can do is that they can get our equipment and they can basically hydroseed that area so they can cover it when when the construction season's over and they need to leave that area as is for an extended period of time before construction resumes. So where am I going with this? For all of the local town and entities around that share Otsego Lake watershed, should they require to do road ditching, because it's a very big item around here. And they have all of this exposed soil. Please reach out to your local highway departments to so they can go and they can hydroseed that soil, that exposed area. So that can help with any runoff that inevitably ends up in Otsego Lake.
We do it, but we're not the only ones on Otsego. And you have to sign up and you have to take your turn, and we have to have the right equipment at the right time with the right weather. So if we expose a hill and we can't get the hydroseeder and it's dry, it gets dry, and then we can get the hydroseeder, then the soil's not gonna, the grass is not gonna take. You know, it's a tricky business because we don't own one. And we have to get in line with the other townships that wanna have it do. It's a tricky business
Okay.
to make it work.
It's great we have it, but it's really complicated.
It's great we have it, but it's complicated. Have to work with paving, and when the paving guy comes, they gotta do the paving,
Right.
because it's hot, and they gotta roll it out, so it's tricky.
Right.
And we do use it, but it doesn't always work because of the weather.
Right.
Does county highway?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
County takes about half of our total.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. Loads. Oh, but incidentally, since this is brought up, as of today, and as of today, at like 4:30, I don't know, 5 or whatever time it is. I have yet to get a single request for hydro seeding for the year of 2026, and I've got like a couple of pallets of hydro seeding material. Doesn't mean that by tomorrow, because I sent out the mass bugle call about the hydro seeding material, doesn't mean that tomorrow I won't have any email, but as of today. I've reached out to them before and no highway department's interested. So if no highway department's interested, I'm assuming that nobody really wants it, which also means that. Should you want to use it, it's open pending, obviously notice pending to any updates on the news. I send out to the various county highway departments a form to fill out. So I can actually keep track of keep track of who is who, because I've had issues before with various towns and villages and cities just call and they basically say, well, I thought it was my turn or something like this. I'm trying to put order to the system, but again. As you perfectly alluded to, there's a small window of opportunity to use it, and unfortunately, everybody else wants to use it at the same time.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm glad we have it and our municipality representatives will definitely. I see you walking away.
Well, I don't want to steal, I was gonna say, do you want me to reach out to the highway superintendent?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But then I'll be stealing the hydro seeder from everyone else.
That's okay, no one.
I figured as I'm walking out, okay, I'll be the first phone call, you're gonna email, I know it. Yeah, right here.
Kevin, thanks for being here.
Yeah, that was, do you guys need me for anything else? or-
No,
Okay, all right.
happy to have you.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys.
Okay.
And I'll get that, if you email me that, I'll send it back to you. How much, yeah.
Thanks-
Great, thank
thanks
you
for
very
doing
much.
that. That's really good. That's great. That's gonna be great.
Mhm.
Is anyone from BFS on the line?
No,
No rep from BFS. That's
Yeah, they are having an end of the year biology department celebration event for students, so that's.
okay. Should I email them or can I tell you the things I was gonna ask or which would be better? Email.
Email,
Okay.
yeah.
I was just gonna ask about the temperature probe and all the stuff that Matt's working on, just to see where that is.
Matt should be around, he's not teaching probably, so.
Okay, well, we'll get him next time. Let's see, on the committees, the 90 committees, the communication. Powerful thousands, cast of thousands committee. We're gonna send out the business email sometime this week. Through Ryan, so all the businesses will get a update, essentially, that encompasses the 2 messages we sent from Otsego 2000. So that's that, and then Victoria and I are kind of talking about homeowners along the lake and, can we do something to connect with them? But, we're just in the talking stages, I'd say, on that one. And then the other letter Jake reviewed for us, and we're gonna send that out through Otsego 2000. Yeah. And then ag tributary, I don't think there's a meeting set up. Scientific modeling, any update there that we should share?
Sorry?
Nothing from the last, because we meet every month and we haven't met since the last WSC meeting.
Okay.
but attached to that, we have had some excellent meetings in terms of BMPs. And did you get the information from Christos? If not, I'll send it to you.
I don't think so.
Okay, so he's provided us now with a very long list of BMPs.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
And I think what Wendy is trying to focus on now is that what we still need to try to squeeze from the stone in terms of soil and water is estimates of like percentage implementation we might expect. He's done an excellent job. Crystal's very much laid out that in all likelihood, substantial changes in terms of loading reductions and so forth, from their perspective, are way more likely to come from a ton of small BMPs as opposed to kind of your big money, huge items, which happen much less frequently.
Great.
So he's given us a very extensive list of all of the
We're in the meeting, please.
all the BMPs that are what they see as feasible and things that are, you know, in their wheelhouse to implement in the watershed. Actually have it with me, but it's about 4 pages. And then what we're gonna follow up with Christos on, yeah, it's wonderful. You put in a lot of time and it's very helpful in moving this stuff forward.
That's great, because remember, we had such a rough time.
Mhm.
Coming up
So,
with the
so we're not quite there yet, I think, in terms of what Wendy wants, because she needs to be able to give some sort of estimates in the model in terms of what percentage of these things we could implement, but we've got a really good starting point in terms of what they think is feasible.
Wonderful.
So, yay for Christos.
Yay. All right, a regulatory update. The only update we have right now is that Jeff is going to be the new chair, replacing Bonnie. Yay. Yay. Yeah,
Jeff's gonna fix all the chapters we just
Yeah.
reviewed.
all that work.
Is our regulatory expert.
That we're really lucky. Jeff has a talent, a superpower in terms of really organizing that stuff and understanding, prioritizing, as you can see from his comments. So we're very lucky to have him doing that work. Okay, now that we have a quorum, thanks, Paul, for being here. First thing is the minutes from the last meeting. I have a motion to approve.
So
Second. All in
You
favor?
want a copy, Paul?
they were distributed. I mean.
Yes.
Yep,
yes.
okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, on the grant that Amy put through for the Lake Fund, essentially what we.
Yes,
Did you hear all that, or I was?
I only partially caught it,
Okay.
sorry.
Victoria had a really good view of this, that it will be helpful after the 9E. It's not necessarily scientific, but it could be helpful after the 9E. Gary, we can't close the door for a public meeting. I'm so sorry.
All right.
I did that.
Thank you for the intent.
Yeah.
No, one of the first meetings I did that. No, close the door. So I think that seems fair in terms of that proposal from Amy, I think. That seem right to you?
Yes, I completely agree with that. Is that, just so I understand, is that we were still gonna vote today on the letter, like the letter that we gave to the other ones? Were you talking about what she's submitting to the?
Right. But I just wanted to make sure that made sense to you, that sort of nuance of that. So what the
Yes.
vote would be is that we agree that her proposal would help after the 9E. It's not specifically a scientific effort,
Yes.
so that it's not a direct impact as the interns, et cetera, would be, but it would help after the 9E is developed. All right,
Makes total sense.
I'll move that. Second,
I have to abstain. I've not read it.
can
I
you second
missed the
that,
email.
Paul? Are you comfortable with that?
Here we go.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, the document that Jake sent out about Amy's request for the Lake Fund, Amy Wyans. What we've decided, our job is to figure out whether it's connected.
Yes, to the 9.
Yeah, okay. All right, so okay. All in favor? All opposed? Okay.
Abstain.
Very good. All right, now on to the third thing is the fee, the inspection fee. I'm not sure if everyone knows the detail on this, but Otsego did have a conversation about this. The town attorney was concerned that it was not a legal approach. Pat appropriately sought clarification on this, and the mayor and Martin Tillapaw sent a note back saying, here's the law, it does meet the law, etc. Pat has told me today that she's going to call, first of all, to ask that we'll clarify that it is legal, and second, she'll call for a vote on the 22nd. So what we're going to do is wait until that day, and either it will go out with all of our signatures or it will go out just for me. So I will move that. Do I have a second?
A clarification.
Please.
Second, and a question.
Go ahead.
My understanding is that the village of Cooperstown, the WSC has the authority to implement the fee.
Correct.
And we did not, we had a town board meeting last night. we didn't ask for approval to do this. We said that the law states that the entities I mentioned have the authority to do this. We support it for the reasons that we've talked about.
Perfect.
Just to clarify, we did not seek approval to do this.
That's okay.
And I didn't hear anything in the way of any major objection whatsoever.
Okay, that's perfect.
But I don't know, is that my,
The clarification, if I can say, was Paul rightly asked
Mhm.
whether he had approval from the board as our town rep to sign the letter endorsing what the WSC is doing. Not that the town is endorsing it, but as our rep, is this what the WSC is supposed to be doing? And that we endorse him to do that. Because of all the controversy, questioning about exactly how the fee structure should work and who has the authority to adopt it and enforce it and all the rest of that. So on the 22nd, I anticipate I would get the town board to say that it's Paul has the authority to vote however he wishes on this issue.
Okay, very helpful.
Before you vote, can I just make the clarification that if you're gonna vote on 2, what you're agreeing to is that if they agree, then Paul would sign and everybody would sign, but that everybody understands it would still be the intent that it went out
Correct. It'll either
with
be
just
every,
Berteen's signature.
so one of
at
those,
the
we don't
very-
have to vote again. One of those two things will happen. Everybody signs or just I sign.
So just to make sure that you agree that that's
Okay.
okay, premise.
okay.
All right. All right.
We did tell the town board last night, or TV of Middlefield, that it was going out under the signatures of 5 people.
Yeah.
And why that was important
Yeah.
in terms of sending a signal that we are doing this regionally and together, and are trying to bond people.
Perfect.
So
Yeah,
they were okay with that.
Okay.
And I appreciate where Otsego is, and understood.
But so if that changes, you're the first person I call. But we're very hopeful about the 22nd. Oh, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, let's keep moving on the agenda here. We're doing great, we're doing great. Let's see. This is my own ignorance. Why is being seeking climate smart designation important? What does that get us?
Money.
It increases your brownie points when it comes to certain applications of the DEC and other community development grants.
Wonderful. I could not figure out thank you. I really appreciate
Well,
that.
and then implicitly, the different CSCs might be doing things that would help in terms of the health of the lake.
That too.
Exactly.
That's, yeah,
100%. Yeah. The other thing is, this is a separate Amy Wyant one. Remember, we spoke here about her applying for a grant to do grants. And we had said that would be great as long as it doesn't obligate us in any way financially, that's a separate thing. And I just want you to know that she did seek support from us. And Jake really redid the letter to be very clear that we support a grant to do grants. And nothing more.
yes. We kept it very limited. We had about 3 hours that she needed it by. It was like, I need this by 11 a.m.
It was like 9, okay.
So,
can I ask a question
Mhm.
about that?
yeah,
Mhm.
If we're in the market looking for somebody to do grants for us, should that have been bid out in some way or made known to some people, put in the paper that, by the way, this group is looking for, and are you interested? And if so, let you know by such and such a date, Christos?
to be, oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, traditionally speaking, most of the items that need to be properly bid out, at least with the sealed bid and all of that, tend to range around the 20K for services. That being said and done, actually having like a newspaper announcement or actually doing your due diligence to expose it to as many potential contractors as possible always looks good and for public institutions like this.
So go ahead, Jake, you were gonna say something.
I was gonna say that I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know if this is a adequate delineation, but we're not hiring anybody and under any of this. We did a similar letter with Ashley
Yes,
at Region 8.
yeah.
Development Board. I forget, it's a similar thing where they're separately seeking, and she's seeking funding, not just for us in any sense, or the village in any sense, for a number of municipalities, ask for municipalities to say, hey, we see the value in this, we want it, but there's literally like, there's no budget line. We don't have a penny to give out to somebody to help us with grants, it's just looking for.
So she's essentially gonna get the money from this
Mhm.
grant, and then she might come to WSC and say, hey, I have money to write grants, are you interested? Then we'd have to decide, do we put it out to bid, that sort of thing, but there's been we're not supporting that she get any of our work. We're just saying, writing a grant to get grants is a good idea.
Well, maybe incorrect, but it seems to me that we're writing a letter in support of her doing this, which feathers her nest some.
Yeah.
It's helpful to her.
Yeah.
And she's running a business. I just, I'm a little gray.
Well,
Yeah.
the grant though, like, we say those, write a lot of letter of support all the time. And letter of support does not mean that you're going to give business to anyone.
Right.
Or it's just that you support the cause,
Correct.
Yeah,
nothing more.
Yeah.
We have Amy here.
Yeah,
Hello.
just to help clarify, so CCI is a nonprofit organization, we're just a new nonprofit. So this grant that we put in the letter that we support, we asked, just like Kyoko mentioned, that absolutely it's just supporting the application, but it is exactly the same grant that OCCA put in to have technical support for WSC in the past. It is just a different type of technical support. So before, that was what helped get Victoria around the table with you guys. It's the same sort of thing, and I or CCI, our nonprofit, would be offering you that value of technical assistance. So it could be to write grants, it could be to do listening sessions, it's whatever kinds of services that we supply. It's just giving you guys free technical assistance. So, but anything, and even if it's to go out to bid for someone to write grants, if you wanted assistance on that, it's whatever you guys want. So, and it's a link that comes through, just like you said. So those are the types of things that we are putting out there. So we are not, we're not a for-profit entity, we're a nonprofit, just like OCCA.
So essentially our letter supported that this would be helpful. This would be a helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that actual grant was for not just, it was for the Canterbury Lake watershed, it was for Butternut Valley Creek watershed, it's for the Eagle Lake watershed and Cherry Valley Creek watershed.
Yeah.
So it was just like the others that OCC created for the whole Chesapeake headwaters area.
Okay. Okay, good. I think, I'm just trying to look at the agenda to see, we're missing a lot of humans, so, probably don't have a lot of updates, for a lot of these areas. Krista, you do, oh, great, go, please
Sorry.
go.
I just want to let everybody know that I did have brief contact in terms of a new septic that's going in Springfield. So I'll have more information on that for you at our next meeting. I did get the plans. I have not looked at them, nor am I an expert on, engineering plans and septic tanks, but assuming no one has any objections, I did talk to Bertine, and as long as people don't object, if I get these things and deem them worthy of passing along to Hans Duval, who was the person that the village pays for that, does anybody mind if I just proceed with these to get that part done and then come to you all with the actual review and Hans' information and so forth.
Fine. Anybody have a problem with that? Okay, excellent. Did you want to talk about your plan for the,
Sure. So, yeah, Bertine and I were talking about the, potential expansion into the tributaries in terms of our zone of protection. And, following our meeting, maybe 2 meetings ago, Florian did, follow up with some people at the university. And we do have 2 interns now that are working on, some GIS stuff. And largely what I've tried to task them with is sort of coming up with different ways we could define those increased inspections, because obviously it kind of goes from no additions to the entire county, in a way. And there are a lot of different ways to look at that. And in fact, the law refers to a DEC data set that we don't actually think exists, at least with the name that it has now, or that it had then. So anyway, that work is ongoing. My general thought on it in terms of the inspections is that my plan for this year is that we have a substantial number, just because of the staffing limitations. We have a substantial number that are currently in our zone of protection that are in need of inspection now. Their certification is passed and they have not been inspected, in some cases for a fairly lengthy period of time. So from my perspective, that is the first priority in terms of inspections, just because these are homes that are, you know, right on the lake and all the topography and slope concerns and everything we discussed before. Mr. Al Keck is still hanging around and comes in several times a week, and he's going to go out with me and give me some of his expertise as we start to tackle some of these. I'll be sending out letters as soon as we've got that sort of approval on the fee letter. And my thought on it is that that is my first priority this year. Get myself trained. I've also signed up and I'm taking a class in May. And then start going out with Al and start inspecting some of what we've already got on deck. I feel like the best plan in terms of expansion is to take what we find from the GIS stuff, which is ongoing now, and then possibly combine that with the modeling work, and you know, then start to look at like what the different options are, and then, you know, we would meet and discuss like what makes sense, how we would, you know, implement that time-wise. You know, I feel like every time they did major initiatives in the past, you know, when I talk to people at the field station and so forth, there's got to be a strong public outreach part of that. You know, we're not going to want to shock people with me showing up at their door ready to inspect their system without them knowing. So I think there's going to have to be quite a bit of that, and determination of funding, because again, as I've noted, I can't possibly see that I could do my job and inspections and possibly carry it in all likelihood much past the number that we've got now. So I think there definitely has to be just some discussions on how we would implement it. So I sort of see like this upcoming year, the GIS stuff gets done. I focus on what's existing in terms of, you know, our long-term problem children, or at least people who haven't been inspected in a while. Get myself up to speed in the methodology and working with Al and taking the class and so forth. And then we start the discussions on what we would add the following year. And I don't know exactly, because I'm fairly new at this. My guess is that this is going to be a very work-intensive process. Like, we have no file for any of the houses that we would add, not a single bit of information. We don't know what the system is they have. I don't believe in most of the cases. Now, it's not true, you know, across the entire watershed, but you know, like on a county level, there's not a lot that's done in terms of inspections. There's no requirement at the time of handoff, you know, like we have in terms of our rules. So yeah, I think, you know, basically this year, work on what we got, get the GIS done, start discussions after the year. And then next year we would start implementing it, but it would largely be continuing with the people that I know I've got on deck now, and starting to add people and do the public outreach part. And then the big push would be sort of as we're winding up the 9-element plan stuff, to then, once we've got a full understanding of what we want to implement, we've got arguments from the modeling and so forth, where we're explaining to people why we think this is necessary. And then we start to implement it from that point forward. That's just a basic, yeah, okay.
Might help you in sorting out those properties along the tributaries.
Mhm.
To look up what's sold recently. Because the banks will
Good idea.
require a septic system check.
Yeah,
And if they sold within the last 5 or 10 years, they would have had a running septic system. So
yeah.
there won't be somebody that's got a 50-gallon drum with some holes in it.
I've got
That's a good
some
idea.
real, I don't know, concerns is the right word, but I'm guessing that like there's very, very uneven like implementation of stuff. Like we bought a house. And it was less than 10 years ago, and like our, inspector looked at the tank, but there was nothing emptied, there was nothing taken care of. I know that. My understanding is there was some efforts in the past where we reached out to a lot of people, so the realtors and so forth should understand this.
Yep.
I just had a call a few weeks ago where somebody was saying, we're going to look at this house, can we have the plans? And when I was talking to them, they had not heard anything from the owner, and the owner professed to be completely unaware that they were gonna have to get that taken care of and assessed and emptied before they handed it over. So I think there's still
I'm just talking
Mhm.
about, you'll know they have one.
have a septic tank.
If you just look at the houses in the last 5, yes, it's a good,
just look
it's a
at the
good.
house
point.
Yeah.
for now. Well, some people may have paid cash, but if there was a mortgage, the
Mhm.
bank would require that there was a septic system.
Oh, I see what
Whether
you're
it's
saying.
full or not is another matter.
Separate, yeah, okay.
It's another source for you. is all.
It's a source to cut down the numbers.
Where is that from again? Like just
The
the,
GIS system tells
Like
when
the
the
county?
properties changed hands.
yeah,
County.
And they can, the county GIS, and you can have it sorted by, tell me everything that changed hands in the last 5 years.
Okay.
Kevin can tell you exactly how to do it.
Okay,
What's the objective of the frequency of the inspections? It used to be every 5 years.
yeah,
Is
it's
that what is?
a bit of a mixed bag, to be perfectly honest with you, and I think. Like logically, there is no reason to say it needs to be 3 years. There's also no logical reason to say that it has to be 5 years. The systems are all very, very different. A lot of it has to do with the age of the system or the, like, how much people are using it. My understanding was it was largely just picking a number that
Right.
seemed like it made sense.
that's right.
It was a place to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of back and forth about that number,
Mhm.
and it was just a place to start.
And
So on sale for every 5 years, that was what was decided, I don't know.
Right,
15
but,
years ago.
but we changed it. WSC changed it when I got here, every 3.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't know.
right.
Well-
So I'm thinking, as Jake gets more and more expert on this, I'm wondering if he might come to the committee and say, for anybody who's got an ATU, I'm recommending we inspect it every number of years, and it might not be 3 or 5. But anyone who doesn't have that, I think we should do, I'm guessing there could be a sophistication of this that might be,
Gonna be a mighty long list, there's a lot of diversity in system.
yeah, and maybe not, maybe that won't
A
happen.
lot of them are designed to require maintenance, reducing it all the time, every 6 months.
Yeah, right.
He's not gonna inspect it every 6 months.
No.
He's gonna expect that a property owner that has put in one of those systems or bought a house with one of those systems, is gonna take care of them.
And we do have requirements that they report on their maintenance contracts that they've got for those things. And it's the very first person that I talked to, and our records didn't even indicate that they had an ATU, although we did have the plans and they were approved some point in the past. Yeah, they were like, I literally just paid somebody, I'm paying a huge amount for this contract and they were here a week ago. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, it's nuanced,
Okay,
but for now, it's just a number.
Yeah.
And we do honestly, historically, it has been more nuanced, but it's been largely based on what Al thinks about a particular system. So we've got ones where but it's not always illogical. Like
No,
there's
no.
reasons, right? So in the past, he issued ones that were 3 years, he issued ones that were 5 years, and he issued a bunch that were 10 years. He also had ones where he's like, you're getting inspected every single year, and they did. And again, it has to do with the fact that, to some extent, they're just all very different. And if you've got somebody who's got a rental, that makes it very, very different from, a retired woman who showed up for 2 weeks in the summertime. So it's complicated.
It is.
And I do think that in the long run, probably after the 9-element plan, having a more nuanced approach is probably better. Just so people are happier with their outcomes, but it's complicated and I don't have a good answer right now.
Yeah.
Everybody hates some version of what you decide to do. There's a logical reason, and some people say it makes sense. They're like, well, hey, I'm gonna be mad if you're charging my neighbor a different thing. What if my neighbor's got a different thing? They don't care that the neighbor has a holding tank, say, and you've got a, 30-year-old septic tank, with it, you rent out your property.
It's a judgment call.
It is. It is, and I think.
If asked.
But it may be a more sophisticated approach going forward, I think,
Got it.
as we get better.
Good.
The only other thing I wanted to mention is I had an opportunity to speak with Pat about this idea of the obligation of folks in the watershed to be part of what it takes to keep the watershed healthy. And she brought it up at the hearing, so we're doing a fee for this group of people who have a septic system. But what about everyone else who's participating in this? And I think, as we know from talking to Canandaigua and Lake George and other lakes, that there are systems for putting together an assessment with a memorandum of understanding, which says, here's what we think makes sense. I said to Pat, should we start having that conversation? And Pat gave me good advice, which was, let's wait till after the 90 goes in and we know what actually the work is and what the plan might mean before we sort of start having that conversation. Because we don't know what direction it'll go in. For us, it might be different than Canandaigua and Skinny Atlas and all the rest. So I thought that was good advice. Does everyone feel like that makes sense at this point in time? Sort of give it a breath until we have more information.
Is that discussion focused on the municipality having an accountability, or an individual resident, or?
Just in
any
general,
of all of the above?
what do we do to protect?
It was just in general, I mean, baseline, we don't have an intermunicipal agreement on what our respective responsibilities are for protecting the lake. To start with, but then there's lots of people who gain from the lake or use the lake and don't necessarily contribute toward helping to keep it clean. So there's a lot of layers, which is my point about the county. As far as I can tell, the county doesn't contribute any of our county tax money for anything having to do with the lake, except I did discover from Andrew Marietta that the sheriff's department has 3 really nice folks. We're going to actually get Mike Stalter's here next week, because he's willing to come, tell us what or next meeting, what they've got, and they train people to use them. And they've got a very small amount to use for gasoline to go out there and be on the lake. But they don't actually do it, as far as we can tell. Except under some very rare circumstances.
2 or 3 days, later, almost always they got a boat out for the parade, 4th of July parade, and then some random weekend.
Yeah, and
That's been consistent for at least 10 years.
but they sent their guys to some very expensive boat, how to take care of your boat, and how to save people and all that stuff, classes. And then they don't put them out on the lake.
Yeah.
And Andrew said they put in for between 5,000 and 15,000 for gas for these very nice 3 boats that they go and trailers to water. So there is a commitment of sorts, but it's not actually getting used.
Which is your point about including the county when we talk about this.
Exactly, because all the things that we saw last week when we were talking about the no wake zone and the wakeboard boats would be greatly enhanced if there was some sort of enforcement.
Even presence.
Even by way of just driving
Just
by,
drive by, right.
like the cop parks at the beginning of the day.
I will tell you, from the time that I do on the lake, that I can tell when the sheriff's on the lake before I see him.
How?
Because you see the difference in behavior of the boats out on the lake. They're no longer breaking the no wake zone, believe. The no wake zone. I swear to God, I've done it year after
You
year. I
believe
turned to one of the students I'm working with and I said, sheriff's here today.
I believe you. I wouldn't be surprised.
It doesn't take much.
Yeah.
Soon as they're out there, it's out on the radio, and that frustrates the sheriff a little bit, because can't do much for everybody being well behaved. That's exactly what we need.
But that's what we want.
Yeah.
We want people to be well
Right.
behaved. So at any rate, that would be an example of how other people in the county could contribute, like maybe designate that some portion of our county taxes is being spent on lake protection
Yeah.
in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Sure.
A business, there's a lot of people whose businesses greatly benefit from the lake presence, even though they're not on the lake.
Mhm.
So there's just a lot of other ways to look at this, because of it, it's an economic engine
Right.
for a lot of things.
Mhm.
So,
I think it does make sense to wait until, because the other purpose would be to take all the recommendations that are as a result of the 90 and show it to the public and say, this is what it takes to keep this watershed safe. And we probably all need to be
You're
helpful.
told that as a big list is sometimes self-defeating in itself, we want to identify priorities.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
some of these things don't need to wait for 90. If we can get the sheriff out there this summer, that just be terrific.
The only thing I wanted to add to that conversation is that, and I don't disagree in the slightest. And I'd love to see him out there more. I did have a coworker in the past whose husband worked for the sheriff's office. And the way it was explained to me is that there's often 2 officers and they're the whole county. So it might be, and it's, doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense they spend that much money if they're not actually doing it, but,
so that's.
that was,
Mike's tell us
yeah.
what.
Anyway, that's my guess as to why they're not.
Yeah,
I could go out on the boat every day if I could it out, sheriff's officer, why not?
That's what he said too.
Yeah,
There are more creative possibilities. So in the summertime, when we need the help, the University Police Department.
but see, we started that conversation with,
Yeah, and it's still continuing, it's bubbling.
it is,
Nothing dead yet,
okay,
okay?
wonderful, thank you,
That
Paul.
is Still a possibility.
Oh, that's
Maybe.
wonderful.
Have we sent a letter from the WSC?
I think Florian has,
President Carnet, but he's the biological field station.
yeah.
He's not community.
Do you think that would help?
Do I make one?
Having,
WSC send a letter to the president of SUNY?
I am scared of her. I know that it's being kicked around down there.
Did,
City of Newton has police academy, and they should be training their officers for marine, enforcement, and they have the opportunity to do it right there.
And we know that we have some members of that police department that are eager for that as a challenge.
okay,
Okay?
no, I have no problem with that.
Proof from on high, that's what we think of.
I'll call Florian and then I'll bring it back next
but
time.
I think he works with the university. We're the community.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good
From
idea.
us,
Yeah,
it has more power. I
Yeah.
think.
no, I think you're right. I like the idea. I just want to make sure, I don't want to step on Florian's toes if he's, yeah. Okay, I think that's all we had to do today, believe it or not. Are there any things that didn't get said or anything that didn't get brought up that we need to talk about? Christos, anything? Anything? Okay. Did the grant go in for the pond?
that's the part.
The
Pond.
pond, the Sessono Clark pond?
The applications haven't opened up yet,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Something.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know
but
that.
they should be opening up. May-ish, so.
Oh, good.
It's
Okay.
not too far around the corner, which is
Okay.
great, because I just finished with another big round of applications, so,
Bet.
you know.
Okay, thank you.
Logistics question, once we determine whose signature is going on the letter about the 50.
Mhm.
Logistically, who sends, who packs it in an envelope and
Village.
you do it.
The
The village does
The
it.
village,
Village.
the village,
Okay.
Thank you.
the village.
Jacob's gonna lick all in.
Well, this group.
Don't pay me now.
Some of us, some of us.
I've done that before in the past and
I've done 2 mailings for the village to it, so I'd be happy to help if you need help.
Yeah.
it's not a huge deal. They've got it, it's all machine. But
But the bill will go out with the letter.
Maybe it's time for an article in the paper. Call up the paper and have them interview you and get your picture on the front.
Or
talk
just-
about what you do.
just in the paper.
It was just in the paper, on the front page. The public hearing.
Oh, that was the $50, but
Oh, what did you mean?
I mean, that we're gonna start. Looking more at the septic tanks and these,
Oh,
this nice guy is gonna come to your door. That stuff, that stuff, not the technicalities,
okay. Mhm.
We just came up with a pair of waiters and
Yeah,
Right.
Got them at home, but I don't plan on waiting in any septic tanks, I'll tell you that much. Start telling me I gotta get into a septic tank.
Victoria.
For a.
Did we get?
Employee.
Yes,
Okay, so I'm
Yes.
good to send it to.
good to go. Good to go.
Did we vote on that?
You did, believe it or not.
call it letters.
I believe. Am I wrong?
Okay. Okay, I can do that.
Well, wait, did we vote on that? I thought we did.
I don't think
I don't
we did.
think-
I
Okay,
Talk
I
about
will,
it.
I will move that we go ahead and send that out at Seago 2000. Do I have a second?
second in a comment.
That's my
Yes.
opinion.
But I wonder if a little brief paragraph about where we are with 90 and so forth might be helpful. The information that's in there, if I'm thinking the same one, there's a lot about soil and water and et cetera.
Yeah.
Well, the first one had where we are with the 9E. First one we sent out about a month ago.
I can send you a copy, Jeff, the first one.
make it look like we're doing stuff. I mean, the municipalities turned in all their assessment forms and they.
That was in the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the first one. No, you're right. There's a lot that's happened. Yeah. Let's you and I talk.
Okay.
Can you trust us to put in what we think is right?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it just,
All in favor?
the things that are in there are good, just I'm suggesting something in it.
Yeah.
I hear you. All in favor?
Opposed.
Okay. Let's you and I chat. Yeah. We'll run it by Jake. Okay, anything else? Okay, thank you very much. Good, a lot done.
Can I get you and Jake?
Bye, Bill.
Yep.
You're a trooper.
Bye, Bill.
See you later.
So
What'd you say, Jeff?
I'm still having
He has a question.
facts.
Yes, sir.
We will, exactly.
Can you turn off?
Yeah, let me
Pat?
shut up. I can send all that information first, though.